Hi guys, how are you? I'm Robin. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Welcome to this new video, a very exciting video. You can see out in front of us, we have Acqua Di Parma fragrances, and right next to me, we have Alex, who is training manager at Acqua Di Parma. Alex, you are literally an expert in Acqua Di Parma, aren't you?
I try to be, yes.
Well, we're gonna find out in this video, really put you to your test. This video has come off the back of a video that I did, kind of a bit of a guide through Tom Ford. We looked at some of the most popular fragrances and kind of how to get to know Tom Ford fragrances. We also did Killian, and Acqua Di Parma actually was a brand that a lot of people mentioned. I know that a lot of people watching are fans of this. If you are a fan, I would say comment below and make sure you like this video. So Alex, I'm gonna literally just like switch off to every bit of Acqua Di Parma stuff I do and kind of don't know, and get you to just give us a bit of an introduction to it.
Try and brainwash you in a bit of Acqua Di Parma.
Brainwash us, we're ready. So I'm seeing you've kind of put stuff out into different categories.
Yeah, I mean, we effectively have 5 different fragrance collections within Acqua Di Parma, different universes. What we're known for is what we call our yellow universe.
Okay.
And that's really, you know, the culture of who we are as a brand, and that is Colonia.
Okay.
So where we started was the Colonia fragrance.
And that started back in 1916?
Yeah, it's pretending.
Nailed it. And it's an Italian brand?
Yeah, so I mean, the clue is in the name.
Yeah.
So Acqua Di Parma, we're from, or originated in Parma back in, as you said, 1916.
1916.
I know you know this, but it's nice to rediscover when you're talking about them. So the original was created in 1916. It's actually quite a lovely story. We were founded by an Italian baron whose name was Carlo Magnani, and as you can imagine, he'd been around the world, you know, been to places like Paris, New York, London. And what he realised when he came back to Italy, to his home city of Parma, was there was no Italian eau de cologne. And back in the day, 1916 for us is quite a long time ago, but actually back in the day, the world had kind of moved away from the eau de cologne. People had been making eau de colognes for 200, 250 years at that point. So when this was created, he had a small family perfumer create it for him. It was actually really unusual at the time, which added to its popularity.
Because would this have been quite light for that time? Would it have been sort of heavier fragrances?
You reference, I mean, houses like Guerlain, for example, who were creating big old world perfumes at the time, the Shalimars, Mitsuko's of the world. This was completely in contrast to that. The formula of this is the same as it was in 1916. It's based on a traditional eau de cologne formula. I mean, the first thing that people always say about it is it's citrus and fresh. It's a benchmark citrus fragrance.
And this is the fragrance that the Barbieri, the Barber products, is based upon too. You'll remember that video that we did, and they are great because it's the shave oil. There's various other products which just smell so good.
It's a full range of men's grooming products, yeah. And it's interesting you talk about Barbieri, so it's our men's grooming collection, but it ties in with the heritage of who we are. So people know us for fragrance, they think of us as a fragrance brand, which we are, but we're mainly a lifestyle brand. Yeah. The reason being that, you know, when we launched, albeit 103 years ago, we didn't introduce Colonia to the world in apothecaries or perfumeries. You discovered Colonia in tailors. So we go back to Carlo Magnani, our baron. He began introducing Colonia in some of the tailor shops that he owned. So, you know, the fine gentlemen of the day would go to collect their Italian tailor-made suit, and a few sprays, drops of Colonia on perhaps a silk handkerchief in the breast pocket of your Italian tailor-made jacket. That was the final touch of luxury and elegance, and that's how Colonia was introduced to the world.
One thing I noticed too is the packaging of Acqua Di Parma always looks so good. Like, where does that sort of come from?
So again, it's one of our signatures. The yellow colour obviously is synonymous with Acqua Di Parma. We have the hat boxes because we introduced Colonia to the world in tailor shops. So again, it's kind of a nod to the fact that, you know, we began being associated with men's style and fashion from the beginning. The colour as well, the yellow is the yellow of Parma. So I don't know if you've ever been.
I've not.
You need to go. It's a beautiful city. It's not the cultural centre that it was in the 1800s.
Okay.
But back in the day, Parma was
the place.
Yeah, it was the cultural centre of Italy. Now obviously think of Milan, you think of Florence and Rome. But Parma is known for its yellow buildings. So again, that's why we have that colour. So all these things tie in with where we came from.
And from that, we move into...
So, the collection you have to introduce after the Colonia fragrances, it's the newest signature collection.
Okay, yes.
So we've just launched, it's actually a collection of 10 fragrances, and it's our premium range. And the idea is that each one has a signature raw material. But these are not just any raw materials, you're talking about the finest ingredients.
Yeah.
The first one, let's have a play. So, I've picked this one for several reasons. It is the best seller within the collection. It's also a really interesting raw material to talk about for many reasons. So this one is oud. So many brands have created their own oud fragrance.
Yeah.
And it's easy to think this is, almost jumping on the bandwagon, but it's not. The idea was with this fragrance to create an oud scent, but obviously through the kaleidoscope of Colonia. So you get the freshness, the softness that you might not normally find in an oud fragrance. How do you?
Yeah, but I think when I think of oud and when you think of some of the brands that are creating ouds, they always feel very heavy, overpowering, almost a little too much. But it's got a great warmth to it, slightly lighter.
It's a nude with appeal that you might not find, as you said, in other oud fragrances. It's one of those ingredients that people recognise and often see the word and they just assume they don't
like it. Yeah.
But with this one, it's got a softness, it's got the freshness.
I think this actually smells a younger person's oud. So although you say sophisticated and it's bold, I think it's easier to wear than some of those really heavy and hectic ouds that just sit.
It's an accessible fragrance.
Yeah.
It's one that you can understand easily and decide whether you like it or not.
And this is made from real oud, because I know some brands use oud, some sort of synthesize it. And
so we use, it's real agar wood essence or oud, they're the same words for the same thing. Different words for the same.
For the same thing. It's good. And I'm excited to smell the next one.
So the next one, we'll have a look. We'll stay within the collection.
Yes, please.
But we'll go to the other side.
Okay.
And this side of the collection, it's the brighter side. So they're different kind of scents. These ones are all brand new scents, so they weren't part of our collection before at all.
Yeah.
The whole collection, as I said, they're raw materials from different exotic places around the world. But the brighter scents in the clear bottle, they are specifically influenced by scents from the Far East.
Okay.
So you're talking about Japan, you're talking about China. For the one I want to play with here, it's called YUZU.
Okay.
And we've gone to Japan. I love this because, do you know what YUZU is?
Is it a fruit?
It is, yeah. I love doing that. So.
I've actually smelled this one, so I put, is it a fruit? I think it's a fruit. I know bits about these, I should have just gone with that,
So it is, YUZU is a citrus fruit. It's a rare, little known citrus fruit in the West. You get the very best quality of yuzu from Japan. Ours actually comes from, there's a small Japanese island called Shikoku. I love this one because it really does bring that flavour of the Far East, but it's a citrus fruit. And obviously Acqua Di Parma, we love a citrus fruit. This is not an Italian citrus fruit. It's a Japanese.
It's so fruity, it's just so juicy, almost pops.
I love that insight and fragrance. You can almost
taste it.
Delicious.
It's like, this is making me think of the best sort of clementines you get in a stocking at Christmas, and it literally pops in your mouth. It is so good. If you guys have actually tried any of these fragrances, or maybe even yuzu, then let me know in the comments below and we'll kind of see what you guys have been up to in that. Okay, what is next on here?
I'm going to jump to BERGAMOTTO di Calabria. Bergamot, for those that don't know, it's a citrus fruit. It's actually a hybrid between a Seville orange and a lemon, I believe. We don't know it very well because you don't find it in the local supermarket. It's not something we cook with or eat on a regular basis. But it works so well in perfumery because it has its own distinct scent, but it also kind of brings out the best in other raw materials and brings them together at the same time. Our bergamot fragrance It's part of our Blue Mediterranean collection. And as you can imagine, Blue Mediterranean, it's meant to be inspired by the Italian Mediterranean coast. So each fragrance is named after somewhere on the Italian Mediterranean and the ingredient that grows there. The bergamot fragrance, it's called Bergamotto di Calabria. The reason being that Calabria is where, in fact, about 80-90% of the world's bergamot is grown.
Okay.
We actually have our own special crop of LVMH bergamot that comes from Calabria. I mean, I don't know how you feel about this.
I think where we had the juiciness of the yuzu, this is sharper. It's definitely more sour.
So the idea is, I mean, bergamot, it's more zesty, it's zingy, you can really smell the citrus. I mean, there are all types of scent in citrus, but this is the really bright, kind of uplifting, exhilarating side of a citrus fragrance.
No, I enjoy that. So is this another really popular one?
It's actually one of the best sellers in the Blue Mediterranean collection. We'll jump to another collection. This is our Notte de Colonia collection.
Okay, that's quite the bottle, isn't it?
It is quite the bottle. It's a beautiful story for this collection. It was actually launched in 2016.
Okay.
Which, if you do the maths quickly, was our 100th year.
There you go.
So it was our 100th year anniversary.
Yeah.
And the idea was we wanted to create something special, something slightly different that celebrated that. The whole collection is inspired by Italian opera. Parma for a time was really kind of the capital of Italian opera. So each of these fragrances has been inspired by a different Italian opera written by an Italian composer.
Okay.
And the one I've brought is, well, it's my personal favourite.
Okay.
So I brought it. This is Notte de Colonia number 2.
How many are there?
There are currently 4.
4, okay. You don't have the same lightness as we've had in some of those other ones. Like this is someone walks past you and you're like, what is that?
I mean, it absolutely begins with a citrus DNA in every colonia. So you've got your bergamot, you've got your orange, you've got mandarin in there. But then it quickly, as you said, it develops into something else. You've got basil and ginger, so it kind of warms up. But then you've got woods in the base, things like dark smoky gayet wood and vetiver notes as well. So it really develops into something as you're discovering the scent.
I like this. I think for me, I mean, as you've said, fragrance is very subjective. So if you do see Acqua Di Parma fragrances, pop in, have a sniff. But this is probably, I want to say, like the hardest to wear so far. Like it's not as accessible, but it's definitely a signature.
So as a collection, these are designed to be, I mean, so you can't even find them everywhere, for example. So it's meant to be something that is less accessible. It's meant to be kind of slightly more aspirational.
Sure. Okay, let's do another one. What do we have?
It'd be quite nice to look at one of the other Colonia fragrances whilst we're there. This one, it's known as the James Bond of the Colonia fragrances. The reason being the bottle is designed to look
heavy drinking, fast driving.
It's designed to look like a tuxedo.
Okay.
So it's a kind of bolder, more sophisticated interpretation of the classic. Curious to see what you think.
Thank you. It's almost like the rind of a lemon when you kind of get that zest, and you kind of on a martini glass. If you were to sort of take the oils out and give it a sort of spray, you've got
really smell the citrus. The idea with this is, I mean, this is absolutely a citrus, but also very much a woody fragrance as well. Quite often people pick out one or the other, but it's very much.
It's so citrus.
So for you, it's absolutely citrus fragrance.
Yeah.
A lot of people select this because they particularly love the woodiness. It's absolutely both.
Right, let's do another one from here. What have we got?
So this one is FICO di Amalfi. This one is fig, inspired by the Amalfi coast. So this one is kind of if you like, the sweet, fruity, almost juicy side of the collection.
Yeah.
It's almost, I don't know, you can almost taste it. It's something almost juicy, edible fruit. So you know when you put
so edible, You
know when you put your thumb into an orange, that kind of thing.
Pop
fresh.
I actually think this might be one of my favourites out of these. It smells amazing. And I mean, these fragrances, as fragrance should be, are all unisex, anyone can wear them. But is this popular with guys and women?
That particular fragrance, it's one of the best sellers in the collection alongside Bergamotto. Popular with both men and women.
I think sort of looking back at my favourites, I Love this, that is amazing. I also like the yuzu. I really like that juiciness. The oud, I'm literally picking them all out here. Colonia Classic. If I had to pick one, I like the yuzu, which is actually quite unusual for me. But there's also, I know some of these, and I really like the Sakura, which is another new one. We're not going to get into all of them, but they will be linked on manfromself.com, the products pages, all the good stuff there. But I love that, and I also like the leather fragrance. I think they're all mega. But thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
I've really enjoyed this. My nose is very excited, working through a cold, and this is literally cut straight through. So you've made me feel better. Thank you. I will link everything in the description below, not the comments. You comment though, please. All of that also on manfromself.com and some of the places you can check out these fragrances. Do pop in, literally, with fragrance. I always say this to everyone. Go in, give it a sniff, see if you can get yourself a little sample and sort of see how it sits with you. But thank you again, Alex. Really appreciated this.
Thank you for having me.
Anytime, pop into Man From Self HQ. If you're new to my channel, you've not yet pressed subscribe, then press subscribe. The button will be probably over my shoulder there. There'll also be more video suggestions down there. A link to the product pages for fragrance there. We've also got the products, the article, and my social, including Instagram, up there. But I'll see you in my next new video. Bye-bye.